part 10 of a series of videos following the course of HMS Prince of Wales, which deployed on an 8-month mission to lead an international task force to the Indo-Pacific named as UK Carrier Strike Group 25. Its mission, called Operation Harrassed, began in April 2025 and will end in December. In the last video, the British carrier departed Tokyo on September 2nd, 2025 as it concluded its visit. The ship sailing as part of the UK Carrier Strike Group will next conduct naval exercises with the Indian Navy as it begins to make its way back towards the Suez Canal. However, as the UK Carrier Strike Group makes its way to India, the Carrier Strike Group will conduct some additional missions, commemorative events and cross-training events with regional naval forces. It is now halfway through the Carrier Group's deployment and marks the beginning of the second phase of its deployment. HMS Prince of Wales and her Carrier Strike Group will assemble and rendezvous with JS Cargo and her Japanese Navy escorts. The Japanese carrier is waiting a few kilometres off the mouth of Tokyo Bay. It's the 7th of September 2025 and HMS Prince of Wales is sailing somewhere off the coast of Japan's southwestern Kyushu Island. She has launched 3 Wildcat helicopters from 815 Naval Air Squadron carrying Sea Venom medium-weight anti-ship missiles. A significant milestone towards arming Royal Navy maritime attack helicopters with ship-busting missiles has been achieved. Initial operating capability has been met for the anti-ship Sea Venom missile, meaning it can now be deployed with Wildcat helicopters on frontline duties. A Wildcat can carry up to 4 Sea Venoms, giving it the ability to strike multiple targets in a single sortie, or if required, unleashing a salvo against one single target. It carries enough destructive power to target larger warships like corvettes and patrol ships, while Wildcat also carries the lightweight Martlet missile for taking out both swarms and smaller vessels. The Martlet missile is a lightweight, multi-role, precision-guided weapon. The Martlet fires at supersonic speed exceeding Mach 1.5. It's a compact size, with a weight of 13 kg. Its laser-guided system is designed to destroy fast targets, especially drones. It is deployable from various platforms, not just helicopters like the Royal Navy's Wildcat. On 10th of October 2025, the United Kingdom expedited the delivery of hundreds of Martlet air defence missiles to Ukraine, arriving 5 months ahead of schedule as part of a £1.6 billion defence cooperation agreement. This early delivery aims to strengthen Ukraine's defence against drones, helicopters and low-flying aircraft during the challenging winter months. It's the 9th of September 2025 and HMS Richmond is seen here conducting replenishment at sea with the Japanese helicopter carrier JS Cargo. Both ships have now entered the Philippine Sea. Close by but out of shot, HMS Prince of Wales is assembling her Carrier Strike Group. Richmond and Cargo will join the fleet of ships, giving us an opportunity to observe the warships currently supporting the Operation Harrassed mission. HMS Prince of Wales and JS Cargo are formed up alongside each other while keeping a safe distance and are leading from the front. HMS Dauntless, HMAS Brisbane, HMCS Ville de Quebec, USS Higgins, HMS Richmond, HMMOS Roald Amundsen and JS Akabuno provide a very powerful escort. On September the 12th, HMS Richmond and USS Higgins disengaged from the British-led Carrier Strike Group and transited together through the Taiwan Strait. China's military response was immediate and condemned the sailing of a US and British warship through the sensitive Taiwan Strait, saying it ordered naval and air forces to monitor and warn the 2 ships. The People's Liberation Army's Eastern Theatre Command said the US destroyer USS Higgins and British frigate HMS Richmond were engaged in troublemaking and provocation. The British response was short and understated. Britain's Defence Ministry statement simply said the sailing was a routine passage. HMS Prince of Wales and JS Cargo with their remaining escort ships navigated the less contentious international shipping lane on the other side of Taiwan, sailing from the Philippine Sea into the Luzon Strait, which extends for more than 200 miles between the island of Taiwan, north, and Luzon, Philippines, south. Here the carrier group entered South China Sea. 14th September, and the British Carrier Strike Group is saying farewell to JS Cargo and her escort ship JS Akabuno. Both will sail directly back to Japan, where the JS Cargo, a helicopter carrier, will continue her refit to a converted light aircraft carrier capable of fully operating F-35B Lightning by 2027. The JS Akabuno, once she completes her escort duties and receives fresh supplies in Japan, will temporarily return to the British Carrier Strike Group off the coast of Malaysia. HMS Richmond, after she transited through the Strait of Taiwan, did not rejoin the British Carrier Strike Group. Instead, and under harassment by Chinese warships and buzzed by low-flying Chinese aircraft in the South China Sea, sailed for the capital of the Philippines, Manila, for a pre-arranged visit, arriving on September 16th, 2025. Here, HMS Richmond's crew are preparing to throw lines to dockyard workers in Manila. USS Higgins, previously harassed by Chinese ships on August 13th, 2025, as she navigated a contested area of sea around the island of Scarborough Shoal in the South China Sea, rejoined the UK-led Carrier Strike Group during this period of high tension. However, USS Higgins' return to the Carrier Strike Group was short. She returned to say goodbye, and on the 16th September 2025, she officially detached from the Carrier Strike Group. However, the story didn't end there. On the 17th of September, USS Higgins, now alone, once again entered the Taiwan Strait, conducting her right to conduct a freedom of navigation patrol. It wasn't long before the USS Higgins was once again harassed by a Chinese warship, a Type 052D destroyer. Sailing dangerously close to the Arleigh Burke-class destroyer and at a combat distance of just 200 yards, both warships faced a tense standoff. USS Higgins eventually transited through safely the Taiwan Strait, averting a serious international incident. On 19th of September, HMS Richmond departed Manila and embarked on a 1,000-mile journey towards Vietnam for a soft-power diplomatic mission in conjunction with British Embassy staff based in Ho Chi Minh City. HMS Richmond reached the coastline of Vietnam on 22nd of September. HMS Richmond's crew then prepared for a 5-hour river journey, famous for its winding course through the Vietnamese river plains and connected tributaries. The Royal Navy frigate was joined by a Vietnamese pilot boat to guide the ship's crew along the network of rivers, eventually navigating to the entrance to the Saigon River, which leads directly into the port of Ho Chi Minh City. In this region is one of Vietnam's primary river plains, the Mekong Delta. The Mekong Delta is formed as the Mekong River splits into numerous tributaries and empties into the sea. The Vietnamese refer to the region as Dong Bang Song Si Tu Long, or Nine Dragon River Delta, a reference to the 9 major river branches. During the Vietnam War, also referred to as the Second Indochina War, the Delta region saw savage fighting between Viet Cong guerrillas and United States forces. With Ho Chi Minh City now appearing on the horizon, the ship's crew begin docking preparations, making ready lines. The ship's company begin to line up for Procedure Bravo. They are still in their working uniforms. Procedure Bravo is a less formal posture, which does not require the wearing of a ceremonial uniform. They arrive in a rather damp Ho Chi Minh City. Once docked, HMS Richmond will be boarded by Vietnamese immigration officers who will conduct standard documentation checks, shortly followed by Vietnamese and British embassy officials and British Trade Envoy Member of Parliament Matt Weston. HMS Richmond will depart Ho Chi Minh City early morning on the 25th of September. She will rejoin the British Carrier Strike Group the day after, on the 26th of September, as it sailed the South China Sea, approximately 172 miles off the coast of Malaysia. The carrier group composition has once again changed with the detachment and departure of HMAS Brisbane and HMSCS Ville de Quebec. However, the carrier group has been joined by KD Liqueur, RS Formidable, MAS Ballarat and KD Sri Indira Sakti. The ships will take part in joint naval and air force exercises called Bersama Lima 2025 off the Malaysian coast, led by the UK's HMS Prince of Wales. These naval and aircraft assets are deployed for power projection, maritime security and joint exercises with allies worldwide. Exercise Bersama Lima 25 is the largest of a series of annual combined joint force training exercises and command post exercises delivered by the Five Powers Defence Arrangements nations of Australia, Malaysia, New Zealand, Singapore and the United Kingdom. JS Akabono is inbound and will join the British Carrier Strike Group on or around the 25th of September, but will not directly take part in the exercise. On the afternoon of the 26th of September 2025, HMS Prince of Wales and Japanese destroyer Akabono sailed to the wrecks of battleship HMS Prince of Wales and the cruiser HMS Repulse, which both perished in the South China Sea on December the 10th, 1941. Reefs were placed over the wreck's location, the first time the Fleet Flagship, which is spearheading the Royal Navy's key deployment of 2025 high mast, has honoured those who went before. Committal reefs were placed in the sea by UK Commander Carrier Strike Group Commodore James Blackmore, Commanding Officer of the aircraft carrier Captain Bill Blackett, and Sub-Lieutenant Takakumi Kitamura from the accompanying Japanese destroyer Akebono. The loss of these mighty ships is often overshadowed and somewhat forgotten as a consequence of the attack on Pearl Harbor. It was autumn of 1941 the then brand new battleship HMS Prince of Wales and World War I era battlecruiser Repulse formed Force Z. The warships were sent to the Far East by Prime Minister Winston Churchill to deter Japanese aggression. When Japanese forces invaded the Malay Peninsula, the capital ships were dispatched from Singapore to stop them. On December the 10th, 1941, just 3 days after the attack on Pearl Harbor, Force Z was intercepted by the Japanese in the South China Sea. Lacking air cover, the two ships were first sighted, then subjected to a ferocious and sustained attack by Japanese bombers. In a valiant but unequal fight, the duo evaded more than 40 torpedoes, but were still hit by 4 apiece, enough to send them to the seabed. HMS Repulse succumbed first, taking 512 souls with her. Then Prince of Wales, losing 330 men, including the task force commander Admiral Tom Phillips and her captain John Leach, the father of future First Sea Lord Admiral Sir Henry Leach. The loss of these warships was reported by Winston Churchill to the House of Commons on December 11th, 1941. The loss of these two capital ships, sunk solely by air power, was a significant blow to Allied naval power in the Pacific and caused a massive loss of morale in British colonies in Asia. Exercise Bersama Lima 2025 ended on October the 6th. The British Carrier Strike Group, led by HMS Prince of Wales, will now head to the Indian Ocean and meet up with the Indian aircraft carrier INS Vikrant and her sizable naval escorts. Thanks for watching.